Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a full face makeup tutorial, which I feel like it's kind of been a while since I've done one. Basically what this look is, it incorporates a lot of jewel tones, which people kind of are afraid to use during the summer, but really they can be totally summer appropriate as long as they're paired with the right colors and coordinate as far as the rest of their face, as far as your cheek, your lip color too. So for this look, I have said it before and I will say it again, I love purple on the eyes. I think they complement any eye color and any skin tone. If anybody wants to invest in a new color of eyeshadow, I think purple is the right one. It is the right stepping stone to want to get into color. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe now. I have new videos every week. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Okay, as you can see, my eyebrows are already done and good to go. I'm first going to be priming my lids with Urban Decay's Primer Potion. This is just in the regular formula. I'm going to make sure I pat this all over my lids to make sure I don't have any creasing and I get a better color payoff throughout the day. First, we're going to go in with the Stila in the No palette in the shade Air. This is just your basic white cream color. I'm going to be using this as a highlight underneath my brow and on top of my brow bone. This is going to give my eyebrows a little bit of a lift, which helps open up the eye area. Next, taking the color Clay. This is more of a taupe color, soft brown color, and because of that, I'm going to be using this as my transition color. So just taking a fluffy brush and buffing that all into the crease and going a little bit up into the brow bone. Then going in with the Urban Decay Electric palette. This is really the star of the show. And I'm going to be taking the color Jilted. This is a perfect mix of purple, pink, almost like a magenta color. And I'm going to be taking a flat shader brush and just patting this all onto the lid area, the lower lid area, up into the crease. Then taking the color X-Rated from the Urban Decay Vice 2 palette, I'm putting this also all into the crease and mixing it with the Stila in the No palette color Desert. This is going to create that peachy look that's going to give a nice smoked out transition color from all the deep purples and pinks up into a peachy warm color. And I know this is a lot of shadows, but trust me, this creates a whole bunch of dimension. You don't need to use each and every one of these palettes. You can find shades exactly like them in singles, if that makes it a little bit easier. Then also going back to the Urban Decay Vice 2 palette, I'm taking the color Voodoo to add a little bit more of a glitter sparkle. This also is a deeper purple. It has more of a jewel tone and it's more of a muted purple as opposed to some that are in the electric palette, which we will come back to though in a little bit. But I'm just going to be patting this also with that flat shader brush and then flipping that brush over, which still has leftover of Jilted, and just mixing those colors in together. Then taking a pencil brush and mixing the colors Jilted and Urban from the electric palette, I'll be taking that into the crease, making sure I have a more defined cut crease, but also again blending into that peachy tone that we created. Then just taking my fluffy brush with the shade Desert again and just making sure I blend out everything. When you have a look like this that incorporates a lot of eyeshadows and a lot of color, it's important that you don't have any harsh lines because this is going to make it look nice, soft, and smooth all throughout the lid. And that peachy tone is seriously, I think, my favorite part about this whole eye look. It really gives a little bit more of a dimension and interest to the eye. Next, going in with Revolt from the electric palette. This is just your straight up silver glitter, and this is what's going to make the eyes pop and make them even appear larger when the light reflects on the center. Then just taking any makeup remover of your choice and a cotton ball, clean up all the fallout that you had because that is exactly why we did eyes first. Now for the face. I'm taking NYX Angel Veil Primer, and oh my god, I know I raved about this in my drugstore haul, but seriously you guys, I can't get enough of this stuff. I think everybody should go out and get it. It is good for oily skin. I can see that it would probably be good for dry skin too, especially normal skin. It is amazing. Okay, now kicking it old school with foundation. I am taking my Mary Kay Medium Coverage Foundation in the shade Ivory 200 and mixing it with my light to medium, I believe what it is. Let me see here. Very light CC cream. And just mixing those together, spotting them on my face, and taking my kabuki brush and buffing it all out. I am finding that this kabuki brush is probably a little bit more wider than what I would like it to be, and it's a little hard to go around those eyebrows, so may have to look into a new one. We'll see. But just make sure you blend it all out, and then you can go back in, and I am spot concealing here with my Mary Kay concealer in the shade Ivory 2. Taking that same foundation brush and pressing it all down. Then taking my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade Fair, I'm just going to be highlighting under the eye in that upside down triangle. And I'm going to be taking my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush and just buffing it all out, making sure I have no harsh lines, and just making sure that blends in really nice and even into my foundation. Pressing inwards also with your brush will help it from creasing, and immediately I set afterwards before I go in and set the rest of my foundation, because I feel like my under eye area will just become a big creased up mess if I don't. So I'm taking my Revlon pressed powder, I think it's the Color Stay pressed powder, and then taking my Mary Kay Ivory 2 mineral powder, and I am just going to be buffing this all over my face to really set and lock in my foundation. Then I'm going to be tight lining, with my L'Oreal, I think this is the Voluminous eyeliner. It's the one I keep mentioning that has a really long name, but I'll link it down below. And then taking my Maybelline gel liner from the Eye Studio collection and my MAC 266 brush. I'm going to be just lining my upper eye in a kind of dramatic winged out line. This brush is great. This is the first time I've ever used an angled brush for my gel liner, which I kind of find that it's easier to use other than the pointed brush I was usually using. Especially if you just want to do that outer tail outline, this is a really great tool. It's super thin and precise, and it just makes the whole process a lot easier. Then I'm going to be taking that same concealer that I used to spot conceal, and I'm just going to be cleaning up the edges just to make sure I have that really nice defined edge to my shadows and my liner. This also gives a nice contrast with the lightness or the light color against those shadows. And just making sure you blend that out into your foundation and powder. Don't worry too much about putting cream over powder. If it's this little bit of an amount, then it's really no problem. Then taking the MAC 212 brush, and I'm going to be taking the color Lovesick, which is just a black with glitter, silver glitter in it, and I'm using that to buff out my waterline, making sure I really get it nice and smoked out. And also I'm going to be taking the pointed pencil brush that I use for my crease, and also the fluffy brush that I use for my crease, and using those two brushes one after the other to make sure I really blend and smoke out that waterline. Whenever you're using black on the waterline, it can get really heavy and you don't really want such a sharp edge or such a sharp line, so it's really beneficial to blend it all out and just give that nice softer diffused look. Then taking Too Faced Candlelight Glow, I'm going to be applying this onto my inner corners to give a little bit of a highlight. Now this is my new favorite drugstore product. This is the Maybelline Colossal Pumped Up Mascara. You guys, this is phenomenal. Because of this mascara, it gives my eyelashes such a nice lift. I don't even have to go in with an eyelash curler, which I really don't care to use anyway, but this really just flares out my lashes really nice as if I had curled them. So I really suggest it, and it's like, for the price, it is amazing. Taking that same Candlelight Glow highlight, I'm going to be using this on the high points of my cheek, kind of hugging around my temple and eye area. This gives a nice sheen whenever light reflects off of my face. And taking that same highlight, I'm going to be placing that on my Cupid's bow and also on my chin. This gives my lips a fuller look, which I absolutely love, especially along the cupid bow. And when light hits my chin, it gives a nice glow to my face. Then I'm going to be contouring my nose here with my Tarte Amazonian Clay Park Avenue Princess Matte Bronzer. Contouring my nose is just a step that I always do. You don't have to do it. I just find that I like the way it looks afterwards. Then I'm going to be soft contouring with a big fluffy face brush, also with the same bronzing powder I was just using for my nose. And I'm going to be taking this into the hollows of my cheek and around the frame of my face, getting up into my hairline and temples, and also making sure I bring that down to my neck so I have that nice even flush of color from my face down to the rest of my body. Then taking Bobbi Brown blush in the shade Coral. I actually did own this blush before I started working for them. It is just a beautiful, beautiful coral with a bunch of gold specks of glitter and sheen. And it is just so similar to the NARS Orgasm blush. It just gives a really nice fresh flush of peach and coral onto the apples of your cheek. It is a beautiful blush. I have always liked it. Like I said, I've owned it since before I even started working for the company. It is really just a nice shade. Then I'm just taking a Mary Kay bronzing powder, light to medium shade, and I am just using this and that fluffy face brush to buff out all the color onto my face. And then moving on to the lips, I'm taking the NYX lip primer. This is in the light shade. This is so soothing and comfortable to wear underneath any lip color, especially matte lips, since it has jojoba oil, so it keeps your lips moisturized all day long. Then I'm taking NYX soft matte cream lip color in the shade Istanbul. Again, this is just the perfect shade of peach and coral and pink. It really goes nicely with the crease color we had applied, also with the cheek color, so everything coordinates nicely together. Everything's all done, and just to make sure I lock in everything, I'm placing the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray all over myself